All right, YouTube. So today's video, we're changing the setup again, and I think it's going to be a good resting spot for a good bit. So these are soundproofing tiles, so we don't get a lot of reflection in the sounds. Sound is very important in video. Obviously, the video quality is also important, but sound is also very important. So with that, that's not what the topic of this video is about. The topic of this video is upcoming things and what to really expect in second half of 2025. So there are going to be some exciting things that are going to be happening, both in the photographing and the cinema world, and it all depends on sort of what you want, what you like, what you don't like. I'll leave you with a couple of hints, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them. So then you can actually apply those to your purchases and the things that you would like to do in the near future, and or build out your kits. The big thing that I can tell you is lighting is very important. It took me about a good, I don't know, hour or so to make sure that I was able to do this with the least amount of shadows and things like that, in this set. So if you're not lighting your sets correctly, that's a problem, right? I also have things like this, which you can't see here, sort of lighting the bottom of my face here rather than putting a light right here so it doesn't look as bad, right? So it looks very natural. But then we have other lights here behind, all these different things actually happening, and good sound. So why am I talking about all of this? When you're buying your camera or your lenses, there are things that you have to think about. What is a camera or a system, right? So especially if you're a cinematographer, systems are very important to you. If you're a photographer, systems should be important to you, but nowadays it's not, because rather than investing in good quality lights and setting up a set properly, it's okay to just shoot at ISO 200,000, 400, and just apply some noise reduction. That's the cool thing. That's what we do. But then we have fancy names like run and gun, whatever. Pick your poison, because that will only take you so far. When you start to get into true production and quality of video, the quality of cameras, yeah, it matters. And this is my opinion now. The quality of your lenses matters even more. And the consistency of these lenses, are they color matched? Are they balanced lenses that you're spending all this money on? A lot of people buy a lot of gear, a lot of lenses from many brands. I do that too. I mean, but for me, it's either the native brand or Zeiss. I don't vary too much more outside of that. Most people will go buy Sigma, Tamron, Yongnuo, whatever. Okay, you buy whatever you like. And what I'm about to say now, take it with a grain of salt, right? You don't have to agree with this, but there is some truth here. And what is that truth? That truth is, you have to understand that there are lenses that you will buy that truly have a certain color, rendition, casting of, transmission of colors that actually make it to the sensor. And the funny thing is that same lens on a different camera body yields different things. So when people say this Sigma lens is mind-blowing, okay, yeah, could be. But is it a matched set for my, Novus lenses? Is it a match set for my Batis lenses? Is it a match set for my Canon RF lenses or my Sony E-mount lenses made by Sony? Because when those color palettes, coatings, all kinds of things that go into these lenses don't line up, you're going to spend hours on end in post-production trying to fix it. Now, I'm talking from a professional perspective. Now, if you are a non-professional shooting your kids, your dogs out in the yard, it doesn't matter. right? Buy the Sigmas, Tamarons, great deal, great value, no problem. No one will ever know. But when you're using them alongside with another actual camera system, be careful what lenses you introduce into your bags, because it could mean, yeah, I'll save a little money buying this, right? Because it's third party, but then you'll also end up spending a lot of money paying someone and or spending hours on end trying to color correct every single thing to match and look right. And that brings consistency in the product that you deliver. With video, it becomes very apparent very fast because, you know, even when you're shooting raw, you can tell the difference between certain lenses because they just render a certain way. Um, with photographs, you can take one photograph and you can beat it to death, and edit the hell out of it. With video, it's like that same photograph multiplied 30, 40, 60 times in a second, right? And then it has to tell a story, show the movement, all kinds of different things that happen. So keep that in mind. Lighting is very important. This stuff. Flash units, especially if you're doing photography. If you're not investing in actual lighting, I don't know. I mean, I think you should really rethink it. Unless you're a landscape photographer, and then you work with the lighting that God gives you. So, having said that, figure out what works for you. And the second half of 2025, I think it's going to be pretty incredible. You got the R7 Mark II on the way. You'll probably get a new variant of other cameras, maybe even a video version of it. I'm sure Nikon will probably come out with something. Sony definitely will, because they're about to come out with 2 or 3 cameras. Everyone's going to lose their mind, and it's going to be a world-changing game. I don't know what game they changed, but they didn't change a thing for me. I just keep seeing the same 10-year-old body repurposed again and again and again. Nothing new. So am I going to expect something mind-blowing from Sony? Not really. They've already gotten pretty good with autofocus now. Okay. Pick what works for you. If that latest and greatest is going to tickle your fancy, go spend the money, go do it. The links are down below. Knock yourself out. Lighting. If you do not understand how to light your scene and or bring the most out of it, you really haven't really started to be a photographer yet. Because if you think about it, and I don't mean this in a bad way, and don't tell me about artistic expression and all this mumbo jumbo, these fancy words that you listen on YouTube and things like that. Let's just get down and dirty. Your output of what you produce and what you deliver, even for yourself, is it consistent? Do you know what you're doing? Do you understand what happens when you turn one light off? Here, I can show you what it does. Right? One of the lights that you'll see, I'll shut this one off. I know exactly what it does, but now you can actually see what it does. Here. Right? So it took some time to set this up to get the right effect that I really, really wanted. I could have rushed it and just put a light right here in my face and just blast it like, I used to do in the past with video. I don't quite do that anymore because I've graduated sort of in my thinking and matured a little bit with this stuff. So with that, it's just an example. And the other big thing is, if you are going to go into cinematography, filmmaking, don't shortchange audio. Good quality audio, like what's up here, that's bringing this voiceover to you, is very, very important to video. Because without good audio, video really has no... I mean, you can have some emotion, with the eyes and things like that, but sound actually truly brings it to life. So don't shortchange it. Don't buy cheap stuff. Buy the better stuff. Build a good production, and especially if you're going to sell it to your clients, it's going to be cool when they look at sort of this setup that's here, showing up to their site. They know they hired a real professional. I don't mean that just because you got a small camera, you can't do anything. You can. But what someone sees is what sells, right? So perception is very, very important. So think about it if that's what you're doing. Now, if you're not, and you're doing it for yourself just to have some fun, different story. Doesn't really matter. Half of these points don't make any sense. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And 2025, part two of 2025, a lot of good things are happening. Save up your money, buy the right things, and truly elevate your game. Spend the time, learn the craft, and learn the game. Once you learn lighting, once you learn light balancing, color balancing, all kinds of different things change, and the output of your work will actually change, and it will actually start to look different. So let me leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, be nice to each other, go out there, create your magic, and let me know what you think about this setup here. And I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you.